The Boys and Girls Clubs of Kentuckiana took a risk this year, trusting the community would endorse its efforts to provide safe, educational, after-school hours activities for children and teens. The organization rallied the community to help it reopen several clubs that the Salvation Army had closed, raising $500,000 in 60 days to reopen 2 clubs. A revived Newburgh Club opened last December, and the Parkland Club reopened this fall, bringing to 5 the number of locations that the Boys and Girls Clubs operates. The staff of Boys and Girls Clubs nearly doubled through the addition of the new clubs. Its budget grew by $1 million to $2.5 million for 2012. The 5 clubs are on track to serve 3,000 children and teens this year and 47,000 meals. Those served at the clubs face significant challenges. Many are on free or reduced lunch plans. Most come from single-parent homes, and some live in neighborhoods marked by violence. But the Boys and Girls Clubs offer positive places where hope, fun, and education thrive. The zoo had a blockbuster year in 2012. Attendance broke a record. Nearly 1 million visitors, the most in the zoo's 43 years, visited the grounds and animal exhibits. And the new $25 million Glacier Run exhibit received top honors from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums as the best new exhibit in North America. Glacier Run features a reproduction of a frontier town on the edge of the Arctic Circle, where polar bears, seals, and sea lions can frolic in a 100,000-gallon outdoor pool and a 30,000-gallon indoor pool. A new 50-seat 4D theater also is drawing attention at the zoo with surround sound audio and special effects, including wind, moving seats, squirts of water, bubbles, and leg ticklers. The new features at the zoo serve to keep both visitors and animals happy. As zoo director John Walczak says, the zoo has created exhibits that challenge the mind of animals, as bears, sea lions, and seals are very smart and need to be engaged. A new home and a new name are just 2 of the accomplishments for WaterStep, which aims to provide people in the developing world with safe drinking water. Formerly known as Edge Outreach, the new name conveys both the nonprofit's mission and its growing business of selling donated shoes to help fund its operation. In October, WaterStep moved into a building in Old Louisville that it purchased and rehabbed. Support came from a fundraising campaign that resulted in nearly $200,000 in donated materials and labor. Another milestone was the creation of a new chlorine generator. Engineers from General Electric and the Louisville Water Company volunteered to design the new generator that WaterStep builds. Because the generator is much more economical to build, it slashes the cost of producing clean water and makes it more affordable for groups working to combat waterborne diseases. WaterStep's tools and training have reached nearly 30 countries, and the nonprofit plans to keep adding more areas to serve.
More than 6 million students, about a third of all college students nationwide, took at least one course online in 2011, and that number is growing. That's one reason why business is booming for the Learning House, Inc., which provides online education services to help colleges and universities launch and grow online degree programs. To accommodate its growth, the Learning House moved to larger quarters in the Kaufman-Strauss building overlooking 4th Street Live. It also added 100 employees this year, bringing its total employment to 200. Last year, the company received a significant influx of capital when Weld North Holdings, LLC, purchased it, so the Learning House has resources to expand. It aims to add about 30 more schools to its 100 it now serves by the end of this school year, and to bring on board another 100 employees in the next year to year and a half. Any way business success is measured, this was a big year for Argy Financial Group. The financial planning firm projects $6.7 million in gross revenue for 2012, a 26% increase from 2011. That follows a 22% revenue increase last year compared with 2010. Its performance landed Argy a spot on the Inc. 5000 list of top-growing independent companies for the fourth year in a row in 2012. This year, Argy opened its fourth office in Indianapolis, joining locations in Louisville, Cincinnati, and Bowling Green, as it seized the opportunity to expand regionally. As partner Neil Quinlan says, everyone has a junk drawer, and Argy's forte is helping clients organize their financial junk drawers. The core value of client services goes back to its early days when co-founder Ron Butt ran seminars for General Electric's Elfin Society. Today, Argy still has a strong connection to GE, as 500 individual clients are current or former GE employees. With 3 stores in Louisville, a new restaurant in Denver, and another store planned for Kentucky, Wild Eggs has plenty on its platter. Co-founder J.D. Rothberg says that Wild Eggs is potentially a $100 million company in terms of annual revenue. This year, its revenue is expected to be about $6.5 million. He is so optimistic partly because Wild Eggs is on the verge of franchising its operations. Already, potential franchisees from across the country are lining up. Meanwhile, Wild Eggs keeps perking along as its upscale breakfast experience remains more affordable than eating out at fancier spots for dinner. Wild Eggs officials expect to reach another milestone in early 2013 when it serves its 4 millionth egg. That will trigger a perk of a free breakfast for 2 every week for a year for the lucky diner who orders it, and for whoever orders the next egg at each of the other Wild Eggs locations.
When explaining his forensic engineering business, J. Lyle Donen gets some funny looks until he compares his company's work to the hit TV show CSI. The president and CEO of Donen Engineering Company, Inc. says his firm's services are similar in concept to that of criminal investigations, but Donen investigates buildings and properties, not people. The third-generation family-owned business was founded in 1947 as a mom-and-pop engineering business. Now its main service is to determine the cause of accidents, fires and explosions, and roofing and structural failures for insurance companies. A quarter of the company's growth came this year alone, as Donen expanded to 7 new states and hired 62 employees. It likely will complete more than 35,000 investigations in 2012. Hurricane Sandy has made things even busier for the company, primarily with insurance claims related to flooding. J. Lyle Donen expects the company will be dealing with business from the October hurricane for a good solid 12 months. The York Companies, Inc. hit a couple of home runs this year. The employment services and training firm added several key clients, hired 11 internal employees, and opened an office in Tennessee. These last 2 years have been especially noteworthy for the York Companies, as its revenue has increased by 325% since 2010. President Rob Gassman says a key to managing the company's temporary employment business is hiring well, training, and investing in employees properly, and clearly knowing and understanding what its clients need. He says the formula may sound a lot like block and tackling, but it works. It's not a real complex formula, he adds, you just have to execute, and York does that well. Most of the company's temporary employees work in light industrial jobs, as well as distribution, warehousing, and logistics. During the fourth quarter, the company ramped up its force of temporary workers to about 2,500 to serve the needs of distribution companies filling holiday shipping orders. The founders of Quadrant Financial started the specialty lending company in the spare rooms of their homes in 2001 with an initial investment of $10,000. It wasn't an auspicious beginning. The first challenge was the September 11th terrorist attacks that hit financial markets and dampened the enthusiasm for people to take out business loans. But co-founder John Handmaker said the setback forced the partners to focus on what they do well and to streamline their services. That philosophy has paid off. When the financial crisis of 2008 to 2009 hit, Quadrant was well positioned to withstand the blow. Now it is the nation's 22nd largest small business administration lender, out of more than 7,000 banks. Handmaker estimates that he's been involved with more than $1 billion worth of loans, and he enjoys hearing stories about how his clients have grown over the years. Although Certus Bank agreed to acquire Quadrant last month, Handmaker will remain as CEO with a vision of continuing to run and grow the business.
Ingrid Design has experienced an explosive 12-month growth spurt. The graphic design, advertising, and marketing agency is predicting an almost 30% increase in profits for the year. President and Creative Director Ingrid Hernandez inspires employees to be team players who are also responsible, motivated, and successful. That calls for being available to clients around the clock, putting in long hours to meet deadlines, and working well together. Employees buy into Hernandez's philosophy for several reasons. First, she's a fan of flexible scheduling. Employees can come in early, leave early, extend a maternity leave, or periodically work from home. A Friday lunch bunch goes out to eat regularly, and a personal trainer comes into the office weekly to lead an hour of aerobics, yoga, or weight training. Hernandez believes in coaching as a management strategy instead of being the boss, and that inspires employees to work harder to give back to her and the company. In the 23 years since R. Wayne Estopanol founded the Estopanol Group, now known as TEG Architects, the past 4 have been by far the most difficult. The recession and subsequent lack of construction led to less work for architectural firms nationwide. Estopanol's firm was no exception, but while many established architectural firms have closed their doors, his has soldiered on. Resisting pressures to diversify, TEG Architects successfully pursued its sweet spot of designing buildings for healthcare providers. Although employment dropped, mostly through attrition, there were no pay cuts. Estopanol puts in long hours, but still has an open-door policy at work. After hours, he pursues an interest in soccer as owner of Mockingbird Valley Soccer Club and part owner of a club in Florida. And in spite of the slow times in his industry, Estopanol remains as excited about the work his company does today as he was 23 years ago. Glow Touch Technologies continues to amass accolades for growth, and so does its president, Vidya Ravichandran. This year, for the 4th consecutive time, the IT services firm placed on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest-growing private companies in the United States. And the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame named Ravichandran an emerging entrepreneur last year. To accommodate its growth, Glow Touch moved its headquarters last year to the Summit 2 office park in a space about 3 times larger than its former offices off Chamberlain Lane. More than 10 new full-time employees joined Glow Touch, which employs about 30 in Louisville and about 800 total, the majority in India and Asia. Ravichandran gives managers the latitude to make their own decisions and even the occasional mistake, so they gain true authority in their own right. And her employees appreciate the opportunity to contribute to the overall success and growth of Glow Touch. John Wagner is a hands-on leader who often travels on his company's vessels, observing operations. HMS Global Maritime provides marine management services to owners and operators of high-speed vessels and ferries. It also owns the Memphis-based American Queen steamboat, which was relaunched in April for river cruising after an $8 million renovation. The American Queen is expected to make 41 cruises this year and to bring in $40 million, helping HMS attain its goal of $100 million in annual revenue 8 years earlier than Wagner planned. That is an impressive accomplishment by any standard. It is especially rewarding for Wagner, who put himself through college partly by working on a fishing boat in California. Wagner determined his own company one day would have a laid-back, flexible, fun, family-type atmosphere. That philosophy is summarized by a quote on HMS paychecks: "If you love what you do, you will never have to work a day in your life."
The
The business of personalized gifts has been good to Cafe Press this year, and also to Louisville. Cafe Press helps customers create customized t-shirts, mugs, posters, and other items online and through a retail outlet, then manufactures and distributes them. In March, Cafe Press became Kentucky's first publicly traded e-commerce company. And in April, Cafe Press moved its headquarters from California to its fulfillment center at Jefferson Riverport International in Louisville. At that time, Cafe Press announced plans to add about 600 workers locally. The move alone was great news for the city, as it sends the message that companies with many technology-related positions can succeed here, according to Eileen Pickett of Greater Louisville, Inc., the Metro Chamber of Commerce. New licensing agreements with major entertainment brands and several acquisitions were also accomplishments of Cafe Press. Meanwhile, CEO Bob Marino thinks there is plenty of opportunity for his company to grow, noting that $200 billion worth of consumer products are sold online annually in the United States, and most all can be personalized. This Fortune 500 healthcare provider closed on a $1.3 billion purchase of its largest competitor in the post-acute care arena last year. Since then, it has integrated St. Louis-based Rehab Care Group, Inc. into its operations. The acquisition led Kindred Healthcare to hire more than 140 employees in Louisville and lease 2 floors in the Kaufman-Strauss building. With the new business, Kindred now provides rehabilitation and recovery services at more than 2,200 sites nationwide. It has 20,000 new workers and now employs 76,000, including 2,252 locally. A public company, Kindred also grew its business recently through collaborations and acquisitions in the hospice and home care fields, increasing its locations in those areas to more than 100 from 20. Hefty investments of $34.7 million in employee training and more than $30 million in employee recognition and bonus programs help create a positive culture, preparing Kindred to better serve an aging population. President Ben Breyer says there is an enormous amount of demand for the services that we provide. This has been a year to remember for GE Appliances. With new president and CEO Chip Blankenship at the helm, the Louisville-based segment of General Electric Company made a commitment to invest $1 billion in its U.S. manufacturing operations. About $800 million of that investment was made at Louisville's own appliance park. GE also added more than 1,500 production workers at the plant this year, raising employment to 5,500. Also, for the first time since 1957, GE launched new product lines at Appliance Park, including a hybrid water heater and a French door bottom freezer refrigerator. The company also made strides with lean manufacturing, which aims to reduce unnecessary work and operational costs while improving productivity and quality. A September vote by unionized employees kept the momentum going as union members approved a new local supplement to their national contract. And GE put Louisville in the national spotlight this year when a commercial filmed at Appliance Park with local employees aired during the Super Bowl.
During his nearly 13-year tenure leading Humana Incorporated, CEO Michael B. McAllister has overseen a significant transformation of his company. He has presided at the helm of the insurance, managed care, and wellness company as it returned to stability while solidifying Humana's role as an important corporate citizen. In the past year, Humana has added more than 1,000 employees in Louisville, bringing its local workforce to 11,600. McAllister also guided national growth as Humana's total employees nationwide tripled to 43,700, up from about 14,300 in early 2000 when he became CEO. That year, the company's market value dipped to about $700 million, following a failed merger and the abrupt departure of a previous executive. Under McAllister's leadership, Humana's market value has soared to about $12 billion. McAllister also set a standard at Humana as a contributor in the community through his leadership roles with Metro United Way and other nonprofits. And the Humana Foundation has also strengthened its assets and its giving under his watch as the foundation's chairman.